Hello YouTube, my name is Lori and welcome to Lori's Thrifty Kitchen Pantry. A special welcome if you are new. If you like this video, please hit the like button and feel free to share and subscribe and hit the little notification bell so you get notifications when I load new content in. If you are already a subscriber, welcome back. And just double check and make sure that you are actually still subscribed to the channel, because sometimes YouTube does this really screwy thing where they unsubscribe people. So just make sure that you are still subscribed, and thanks for coming back and spending time in the kitchen with me today. So we are making cake bites in the air fryer today. We are doing a chocolate cake mix, and I'm actually doing two cake mixes because it does take a bit of mix in the egg bite molds to make the cake bite, so I am doubling the amount that I'm using. You pretty much follow the recipe on the box, except instead of oil, I put in a stick of melted butter. The cake comes out way better than just using oil. It comes out like it was a made from scratch cake. No one can tell the difference that it's a box cake mix. So just melt a stick of butter and use that instead of the oil, and you'll be good to go. So we are using these egg bite molds. I got mine on Amazon. These go in the air fryer, they go in the oven, and they also go in the Instant Pots. So you can use these for whatever type of cooking apparatus you might have in your kitchen. I will link the set that I have down below. I got mine on Amazon, so I will direct you to the ones that I purchased. I am not affiliated in any way, shape, or form with Amazon. I don't have a store yet. I don't get any money off of anything that is purchased from Amazon. I just really like these egg molds, and if you have an Instant Pot or an air fryer, you really need to get a set of these because you can do all kinds of things with these. I do cake bites, I do egg bites, I do stuffing bites. I actually use a box of stuffing mix and pack it into the egg molds, and then I air fry it, and the bottom gets all nice and crispy on the top, and they're just really good. It's one of my favorite things to do, and sometimes I will even mix a can of turkey or chicken up with the stuffing mix and go ahead and put it in the air fryer. It makes for a really good quick lunch or dinner. So let me turn you around and we will get started with our chocolate cake bites. Alright, we have our mixer set up. We have our cake mixes in my bowl here, and I am just using the Duncan Hines cake mixes. I had gotten two of them from the food pantry that I pick food up from. So we're going to turn these into a yummy dessert. So I'm just so glad I invested in my KitchenAid. I've actually had this one for over 10 years now. So it is a bit of an investment, but it is like totally worth every penny. I've never had any issues with mine, and I just love it. It does a good job. So in the bowl, I just added 2 cups of water. Remember, I'm doubling the recipe, so each recipe takes a cup of water. So I have 2 cups of water. I have 2 sticks of melted butter here on my pan. So I'm just pouring all of that in because, again, we are doubling the recipe, and you want all of that butter fat to go into the cake mix, because that's what makes it so tender. All right, it's gonna get a little bit noisy. So you start the mixer on low. Sometimes there is some splashes. So you just want to kind of get the mixing process started. And then I have 6 eggs because each recipe takes 3 eggs. So you just add it in slowly and just let it mix in a little at a time. 1 or 2 depending on how many go into the bowl. I try to get 1 in, but sometimes more than 1 goes in. So you just slowly add your eggs in. If more than 1 goes in, that's perfectly fine. So now I'm going to stop the mixer, and I just want to scrape the sides down really quick. Make sure that everything's going to be mixed in. So you can see there is still cake mix left on the bottom. So you just make sure that all gets mixed in. So it just helps to scrape the bottom out. I try to scrape as much of the mix off of my spatula as I can to get that all back into the bowl. So now you're just going to turn it on to medium. I turn mine between 2 and 4, and we're just going to let that mix for a few minutes until it gets all nice and thick. And I think I'll go up 1 more. Actually, we'll stick with 4. And I will bring you back in a couple minutes when this gets all mixed up. Alright, we're back. I let this go for about 3 or 4 minutes. If you have a smaller mixer, you might want to do it a little bit longer, but you can see how nice and luscious and thick this batter looks. So let me zoom you in just a little bit more so you can see that just a little bit better. Alright, as you can see, just about dropped, you guys. There we go. You can see how nice and thick and rich this batter is. This is what you want especially when using a box cake mix. You need that batter to be nice and creamy and thick. So now I just have my trusty muffin scoop. Let me switch sides here. And there we go. We're just going to take a scoop of our batter. Now remember, I sprayed these molds really, really well, because even though it's silicone, these can stick. And you're just going to carefully fill these up, not quite all the way up to the top, because remember, cake batter rises a little bit when it bakes, so you don't want it all the way up to the top. Maybe just a little more than half. If you have one of these big scoops, maybe about half of a scoop will do just about the right amount. A little bit more in that one. And that's really all there is to making air fryer cake bites. A lot of people like to dip theirs in frosting or some kind of glaze. I've already established that I'm weird, so I like my cake bites without any frosting on it. I just like the plain old cake bites, especially when you add that butter in there. It doesn't need any extra frosting to make it moist and soft, because that's what the butter did. So it really does not need anything extra. Alright, so I rinsed my cup out that I had the eggs in. So now I am going to take a little piece of paper towel and just kind of wipe the top off here, just so it doesn't stick and it comes out better. So I just don't want to have a mess on my mold, because usually I do 2 or 3 batches of cake bites. This one needs just a little bit more cake mix. That didn't have as much in there as I first thought. And remember, once you get the cake mixes in there, it does settle down a bit. So even if you think you have room to fill that up, I would still just leave it, because of the cake mix rising. It's going to take up more space than what you think, which you will see in a minute. So now we have our filled egg bite molds, and I will bring you over to the air fryer. And now that bottom pan is clean. I just cleaned it, but it is a drip pan. You don't eat off of that bottom pan. It's just to collect drips, any kind of grease drips. So there we have our mold in the air fryer ready to go. And I did turn my air conditioner off this time, so I should not blow a fuse. So as you can see, we have our mold in there right now. It is set to air fry. I'm going to go to the function button, and I am going to turn it down to bake. And we are going to bake this at 400 degrees. I have it set for 20 minutes, but I'm going to come back at 15 and check it, because the temperature and humidity can affect the baking time. So at 15 minutes, I'll come back and check them to see how they're doing. We're going to do 400 degrees at 20 minutes. Now, you need to know your air fryer and how your air fryer cooks and how long it usually takes stuff to get done. And with these, it took me a couple tries before I got the timing and the temperature just right. So it's kind of trial and error. So just try it and practice until you know how yours does. So we have our air fryer started, and I will bring you back and show you part of the baking process. And while this is going, I'll work on refilling my next mold. So I'll bring you back in just a few minutes. Alright, we are partway into the process. Let me turn the light on. You can see the cake bites are starting to puff up. I did change my setting back to the air fry setting, so I'll check them in a few minutes. But man, look how those are raising up. Let me zoom in a little bit. Yeah, look at those. Those are gonna be absolutely amazing. I cannot wait. Between these cake bites and my supper that's cooking, my house smells absolutely wonderful. I am doing Coca-Cola chicken in the crock pot, so I will link that recipe down below, because there will be a video on that. Maybe later tonight or first thing in the morning there will be a video on that. But man, look at those cake pops. I am so excited. And you could actually turn these into cake pops if you have the craft sticks. You can absolutely, when you get ready to pop them out of the mold, put the stick in them and turn them into cake pops. So this is going to be really, really good. I cannot wait for these. So I will bring you back when I check these in a couple minutes. Alright, y'all, look at those. This actually took them about 15 minutes. So I'm going to set you down for a second so I can pull these out. Oh my goodness, they smell so freaking good. I did rotate the tray halfway through just to make sure that they all got into that hot air. A couple of them melded together, but that's perfectly fine. It will still taste just as good. So I'm going to set these here and let them cool for a while. You don't want to pop them out of the mold, as tempting as it is, while they're still hot, because they will just all crumble and fall apart. And that's all there is to making the cake pops. I'll bring you back when the other trays are out, because I'm probably going to do these 3 molds and then wait for a little bit before I finish doing the rest of the cake batter, because I had to turn my air off to run my air fryer, and it's now 85 degrees in my house. It is freaking hot in here. So I will bring you back and show you these finished products when I'm ready to pop them out of the mold. So I'll see you later. Alright, we are back. As you can see, we have... Alright, we're back. As you can see, our first tray here is cool enough that you can actually touch it without any oven gloves, so it's safe enough now to take these out. So this is very simple. You just poke up on the bottom, and look at this. Now, are they perfectly shaped? No. But each one has their own personality, and who cares, because it's chocolate cake. It's all good. What cannot be good about these? They'll look like, look at this one, it's like a little weird, but I'm weird, so we're going to get along just fine. So yeah, it's just chocolate cake, and now all you do is poke up from the bottom. And these were the two that kind of stuck together, so I trimmed that off a little bit. And that one's still hot and falling apart a little bit. So you just poke up from the bottom and pull it out of the mold, and there you have it. Poke up from the bottom and pop it out. That's why you want to make sure that you spray these molds really, really well. If you don't, they are not coming out. That one's a little top heavy, but it's still gonna be good. Up from the bottom and grab that little bit that got stuck. Actually, I'll put this one on my plate here, and we'll taste test that one. And I'm just gonna clean this out, and then I will just go over this with a paper towel and wipe it out before I do my next batch. You just poke up from the bottom and very carefully lift out. That one kind of fell apart too. That's right, especially if you have kids or grandkids around, you can just let them eat the ones that fall apart, and they will love you for that. So I probably should have waited just a little bit longer before taking those out of the mold. So these next ones I'll just let sit and cool. And as you can see here is our plate of chocolate cake bites. And now I will spin you around and we will give one a taste test. Alright, I sure wish I could have a glass of milk, because right now I would have these with a glass of milk. Look at how fluffy the inside of this is. That's because we whipped all of that air into that, and that's what makes a good box cake. We added that butter with all of the butter fat in it, and then whipped all of that air into it. So look at that. That looks so good. Alright, let's give this a bite. Mmm. Mmm. Mm-hmm. If I had a fork, I would be dropping the fork. That was so good. I can do my happy dance. Woo! This is so light. It is so moist. Mmm. Mmm. You would never know that this was a box cake mix. Mmm. And the trick is just omitting the oil and using a stick of melted butter. There is nothing like warm chocolate cake. These are freaking awesome. Mm. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Mm-hmm. So that's how you do cake bites in the air fryer. All you need is the egg mold, which I will link down below. Again, I don't get any money off of it. I just think if you have an air fryer or an Instant Pot, you really need a set of the egg molds, because there's so much you can do with it. I've even done little pancake bites. I mixed up my pancake mix and added the maple syrup in the pancake mix, and popped them in the air fryer and let them come out and cool, and popped them out of the mold and have pancake bites that I put in the freezer and was able to pull out and microwave and take with me out the door on my way to work. So there is a ton of things that you can do with those egg molds. So I will make sure that I link those down below so you can go get one if you so choose to. So again, thank you for joining me on our air fryer adventure today. My name is Lori, and you have been in Lori's Thrifty Kitchen Pantry. So make sure to hit the like button, leave me a comment down below, tell me what you would do with those egg molds, and share maybe some other ideas that I haven't thought of yet. So leave me a comment down below, and have a blessed day, and I'm gonna go and enjoy the rest of my cake bites. So I will see you all on the next video, which I will be showing you how to make the egg bites in the egg bite molds. So join me for that one. And I have one coming out next week on shelf-stable chicken pot pie, and so watch for that one. And I have one more that I have to make either today or tomorrow, and that will be butterscotch tapioca pudding. So join me for that one, and I hope you all have a great weekend, and I will see you all on the next video. Bye!